Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome once again to another Diamonds Amongst the Darkness episode. Today, we are going to be talking with a young man whose journey to this country has been filled with peril from his childhood all the way up until present day. Different dangers, but still a very perilous and treacherous path. Um, I'm going to let my guest tell his own story, but I am going to introduce Patrice. I met Patrice at a uh, cleanup site with Stephen, and Patrice was actually out there in the ditches, pulling out trash and cleaning up the neighborhood and doing a lot of things that a lot of native San Diego people would not be doing. But I'm going to let Patrice tell his own story. Patrice, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Man, every day above ground is a good day, so I'm great.
I just want to ask you, am I allowed to smoke in here?
uh, as long as yes, you're allowed to smoke. You can tell your story. It's fine. I have no problem with you smoking.
No, I just have a cigarette in my hand right now.
Well, hey, the thing about it is, like people that are offended by your smoking or
Okay, I'm a
or by your story, then
okay,
they can always go somewhere else. This is
okay,
about you. If you are a
all right,
smoker and you want that part of your, you know, I have no problem with you smoking. Be you. This is not about being anybody else but Patrice.
I
Okay?
appreciate that.
All right. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I got you on the show,
All right,
and people know me that know me know that I am a preacher's son, but I have a very different view on religion
okay,
because I believe that religion is responsible for a lot of the social problems that we have today.
well, I'm glad you brought that up.
And well, the the specific thing that you said that brought it to my attention was when you said that when you were talking about the missionaries and you said first they brought the Bibles,
Yep.
and that's the way. And it's not that I'm anti-religion, but this is the way that it goes. So,
No, I experienced it firsthand. So you're right.
so,
I seen it. I seen it happen.
so, tell us your story from the time that we're talking. I mean, you even experienced being a child soldier, and a lot of people don't understand what that means when you experience that type of trauma as a child, and you have to go through
Yep.
that, and it's all because someone wants to believe this and someone else wants to believe that. And anyway, tell your story. Now, I digress. Tell your story.
Okay. Well, my name is Patrice, and I'm from South Sudan now. But when I first came to the United States, my country was one country. It's just called Sudan. But in 2011, they divided between we have the Muslims in the north in Khartoum, and we have the south is Juba, is the Christian and tribal religions. So I came to the United States in 2002. So basically, what happened is I remember like it was yesterday. I'm gonna say this first. If if you see a whole city running in one direction, I don't care how small you are, you know there's something wrong. When people are screaming, you hear loud noises like, bombs dropping. You don't know what it is, but you're afraid to death. Then that's what I experienced. But at first, it was more like, okay, we used to go to church. I was raised as a Catholic. We used to go to church and stuff like that. And then before you know it, it's like people are getting sick. So people are getting sick. And then before you know it, you see, that's my first time to see white folks, which is doctors, missionaries. I'm not saying they're bad folks, but that's us coming from a black country. I never see white people before in my life. But during that time, that's what I experienced and that's what I saw. So what happened is it's like, okay, everything was cool. And then before you know it, we seen basically the other villages as start like after the sickness and stuff like that, after the going to church, sicknesses start coming in, doctors coming in, and they left. They disappear out of nowhere. Right when they disappear, we got attacked by our neighbors. We got attacked by our neighbors basically. So I was like I said, I was young still. So my brothers and sisters, they were still in school. You know, my mother was somewhere else. I was just, playing with the neighbors' kids. I didn't know what was going on. But when we start hearing the bombs start dropping, everybody start running. I was just following everybody. And then my neighbors, basically, I ran with the neighbors. But eventually, I end up, man. But eventually, basically, all of this happened. And it was scary, man. It was my first time to fear there was something wrong. I feel like it was more like you can feel death is coming. As a young man, as a young boy, I didn't know what that feeling was. I was just crying. I was crying like crazy. I didn't know what that feeling was. I can't explain it, but it was. And then when I grew up a little bit, I felt it again. It was death.
How
Like
long did you have to live like this? From what
I
age to
would
what age?
I would say from age 6 to like age, I would say 9 or 8, until I found safety. And by that time, uh,
What did
my,
safety mean to you then? Just I
safety
mean,
me safety means you don't hear no bombs. You don't hear no bombs. You're not basically. It wasn't. That's the first time you feel like, okay, tomorrow is gonna be all right. Tomorrow is gonna be all right. And that happened when I end up in the camp. But before that, if it wasn't for the United Nations found us, I wasn't. It was no safety. So they took us to the camp. So I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm trying to explain to people that if you never felt what death feel like, you don't want that feeling. And it come to the point like for now, like me being grown now, it been a long time since I felt like that, but it make me appreciate life more. It make me
now
appreciate life more. And go ahead. Sorry.
did, did you ever get? Did you ever have any more contact with your family?
Now I do now, but before I lost contact with them for a long time. They thought I was dead. But the first time when I got in contact with my sister, it was in 2000 and I believe 2008. I was already here in the United States. That was the first time I got in contact with my sister. She was crying. She thought I was dead. You know, I guess they did my funeral already, even though they didn't find no body. But that's how people disappear back home. So that's she thought I was dead completely. So, but now I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know if you've been watching the news, but now Sudan is going through the same similar situation again.
Well, once again, that's the reason why I brought you on the show, because you've had firsthand experience. And even though, I was a soldier, I was 18, 19, and I turned 21, but I had no concept of this as a kid, 8, 9, 10. When
Oh
I
yeah,
went to Beirut, our contact was a kid that was 12, maybe 13 years old at the very most. I remember it like it was yesterday. And you see this in other nations. You see where children are actually gone to war. And that fear that you speak of is in every soldier's mind. As a child, having to face death on a daily basis, because it wasn't about being alive; it was about avoiding death. Is that how,
exactly.
is that how you felt?
Exactly. It was, yeah, exactly that. It just, just like you said, it's just avoiding death. And sometimes it get to the point like, you know what? I might not make it tomorrow. That's how it usually goes. And it's like, I might not make it tomorrow. And that's the scary part. That's the fear that you don't, if you think every day that you will not make it tomorrow or you will not wake up, or even though if you wake up, there's somebody next to you dead, it's like, oh shit, I'm next. So all of these kids that being a child soldier, they didn't go there by volunteering. Some of them went there because they invaded their villages and there's no food. Some of them went there because they killed their parents in front of them. Like if you didn't join us, your parents is gone. And some of them just they don't have nobody, and they're like basically they take you by force. Let me just say that they take you by force. They brainwash you. They give you drugs, they numb you, and you don't know what is real no more. You don't know what is real. So it's one of those things like you don't you don't want to think about, but you don't have no choice but to think about. You have a nightmare about it. And if you didn't get help about that, you're done. Your mind is gone. You don't know what's going on in the world. You don't know how to live in society no more. You're not normal, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not normal. So that's the type of stuff I experienced, and it's like, but I'm grateful that I was found by the United Nations, and coming to America here. I first tell you the truth, I didn't want to be in America because when I came here, they put me in foster care. That's another subject too. I don't know if you want to get into that or not, but that's a whole completely different subject. Living through foster care, have those trauma. You don't know the language. People making fun of you in the school. All of that stuff play a part
Well, see,
every day in your.
I went through foster care, but on a different level, because I went through foster care as one of those bad kids that they put in a Christian home, and they teach you how to be an altar boy and things like that. But I didn't have the disadvantages of not knowing the language, being away from people that I knew. I mean, in the sense of, you know, uh, like you say, like you, and I'll be honest, like back in the day, I was probably one of those kids that was making fun of you, you know, because you couldn't speak the language because you had that funny
Oh,
accent,
believe me.
you know.
Yeah.
So,
In high school, I
yeah,
yeah, definitely.
so I understand, but tell those out there that that probably don't understand exactly what that going into foster care, where like you said, you don't speak the language, you have kids uh, making fun of you. It takes you a few years to catch up with everyone. Tell us about that journey.
Okay. First, let me say this. There's a lot of kids out there. They need foster parents. There's a lot of kids out there they don't have good family, and they do need. And I'm not saying foster care is bad. No, I just have a salty taste. My experience, I had a
We're
salty
talking
taste of it.
about your experience. We're not talking about
Okay.
anybody else. We're talking about your experiences.
Okay. My experience is my first foster parents is that I didn't basically my foster dad. I guess we have to call them dad. This guy is like I didn't. It was four of us in the house. There was two Africans and one Guatemalan and one from Nicaragua. I remember it. So I was 13 by that time. So when I first came to the house, they was already there. When I first came to the house, it's like okay, everything was the first week was okay, and then winter hit, and then before I know it, I started seeing some funny stuff. Funny as far as like he my foster dad would go to the hot tub naked type of shit. I mean, excuse my language, but oh man, he go to the hot tub naked, and then he want everybody to join them. So I started refusing, man. I didn't like it. I didn't like the scene and how everything going. Like, so I started refusing. That's what caused a lot of problems when I started refusing doing those type of stuff. And so my foster mom started complaining. Why you refuse to go to the hot tub with everybody else? You always trying to watch TV. You're not seeing us as a family. I was like, look, I I don't want to go to the hot tub. I don't even like hot tub. That is not. It's just because I'm seeing what's going on. You see what I'm saying? I'm seeing what's going on. So one day, my foster dad called me the N word. You know, you ungrateful nigger and shit and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, you should have just. We should have just. We should. You should have just stayed back in your country. You came to this country and you ungrateful. So that hit me hard, man. That hit me hard. So I called my counselor, which it was from this agency called Bethany Christian Service. It is the agency that put me in foster care. So they took me out of that foster care. They set me up on another foster care. It was two elders people that was the second foster care basically, and they end up those okay. They was okay. I used to play football and all of that stuff. So one just that we just never I guess we just never get along because he just I got kicked out. I got kicked out again from that foster care, and then I went to another one. But the last one, they try too hard. Do you know what I mean when people trying too hard to make
Yes,
to like to make you feel like
right.
you can fit in it's never the same. Like they're trying too hard. So I was like, but eventually by that time I turned 18. So in the system, in the foster care system, when you turn 18, they kick you out. That's how it goes. They kick you out, and you gotta go. Now you gotta go live by yourself. So I end up went and live by myself. I went to Job Corps when I turned 18. I went to Job Corps. I graduated. I did construction, and I did security. And it just it wasn't. I started. I started drinking, smoking weed. So it was the life, America life wasn't too realistic for me.
Well,
Like I was like, you know what?
what did you
Go
think
ahead.
American life was? What was your perception of American life before you got
Well, when you're in a camp, they make you watch movies, like Chuck Norris,
there?
Van Damme, and they show you New York, they show you LA, Miami, like those tall, high buildings, everybody, riding in nice cars. You feel like damn, America's nice. Everybody got cars, everybody got houses. Shit. All you gotta do is just work hard. So, but when I came here, it's like I end up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. What in the world is going on, man? It was cold as shit. Man, I'm sorry, bro, but it wasn't like the
I'm,
movies.
I'm from Ohio, bro. I moved out here to California to get away from that type. I understand what you mean.
Man, it
Yeah.
was cold. Coming from Africa, it was cold, man.
Well,
I was like,
yeah,
oh,
I know it. I know we're talking serious, man. But what was it like the first time you saw snow?
the first time I seen the snow, I messed up. I went outside. I was playing with the snow barehanded. I came back inside. I washed my hand with hot water. That's the biggest mistake you can do. Man, I feel my hand about to rip and a half. Yo, I almost, I, I almost cried. I almost cried, man. But I was,
Oh,
damn. I think I cried. I don't know, but it hurts, man. But since then, I was like, nope, this is not for me. I told my caseworker like, yo, you need. That was 2 weeks when I came to America. I was like, I need to go back home. I need to go back to Africa. I need to go back to Sudan right now. And then he laughed at my face. He's like, don't you know that's a one-way ticket? I was like, since then, it was my since then basically I didn't like America. It's not that I didn't like America, but everything that the expectation about America, it was fake to me. Everything was fake since then. Like I did not I did not like everything America's about to me is fake. Like it wasn't the same basically. That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't the same. It's not what this seems like they make it to be in those foreign or those third world countries. You see what I'm saying?
what
It's
did you
not. It's
what did
Go
you
ahead.
think the first time you saw homeless people in America? Because I'm sure they didn't show this in the movies.
Oh hell no! They don't show you. They don't show you Skid Row. They don't show you. San Diego downtown. They don't show none of that. Nothing. Everything is clean. Everybody got cars. Life is lavish. They live in lavish life. The land of a free, land of a dream. They're right about one thing though. It is land of a dream. You can only dream about it. That's for sure. You can only dream about it. But after that, that's all you get. It's a dream. So
So
that's for sure.
let's go back. We're talking about the foster system. You're 18 now, and you said that you went to a job corps. And okay, so now during all of this time that you've been here, have you gained citizenship? Are any of those programs that you are talking about, have they specifically told you that you need to become a citizen, you need to get a green card, so forth and so on?
Okay, I did have a green card, but they don't tell you need to become a citizen. That's on you. That's on you. So what I tried to do is that I tried to become a citizen, but it was for me. It happened when I realized it. It happened too late for me. I didn't get a citizenship, but I was towards it. But it was just life was so difficult for me that I was homeless. Just to let you know, I ended up in Colorado. I ended up homeless in Colorado for like 2 years. So
Wait a minute, man. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Now, you talked about it being cold in Michigan, and you go homeless in Colorado?
look, man,
I mean, I
Michigan
mean,
was bad. Michigan was bad for me, man. So I had to get out of Michigan. So when I got my tax return, I was like, you know what? Let me go to Colorado. The reason I even went to Colorado, you remember when Colorado is the only state legalizing weed?
right. Okay.
That's the reason I went there when I went to Colorado. So I end up in Colorado with my little package change. My money ran out, so I end up homeless for 2 years in Colorado. I used to sleep under bridges. It wasn't, man. You woke up with like frostbite. You
I
know,
was saying, man, it gets cold in Colorado, man. I mean,
it get
I mean,
filthy cold.
I mean, it gets cold in Michigan, but it gets cold in Colorado.
Yes. So I tried to do best as I can. That basically, by that time, I had it with America. I was like, you know what? It's screw the citizenship. I'm just ready to leave. I don't care what's going on. I need to get out of this country ASAP. ASAP. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. You know, I ended up in Colorado again. This being homeless. I met up some nice folks in Colorado. I met up this immigration lawyer. She asked me one day. I was walking in the street. She stopped. She's like, what country are you from? I was like, I'm from Africa. She's like, I know, but what are you doing in Colorado? And why are you walking in the cold? She realized that I was homeless, and she's like, you know what? Come to my office. Like out of nowhere, she just stopped. She ended up to be an immigration lawyer. So she called me to her office. I went to her office. Uh she's like, you know what? I need to I don't I want you I need you I want to take you to church. I want you to tell the church your story. And then we end up setting up a time to go to church. So I went to that church and I explained to them why I was homeless and I don't want to be in America no more. And if you guys really want to help me, you guys can just send me back to my country. They didn't like that. So a lot of people in the church kind of disagree with that because they know what's going on in my country. So they literally told me like, look, we can't do that because if we did that for you, basically we're giving you a death certificate and we're not going to be responsible to sign up this death certificate for you. So what
But,
we're going to do is go ahead.
okay, now you had seen what happened when you were young with the
Yep.
church.
Yep.
So how hard was it you to go to this church now to tell your story when you had seen what had happened in your country when the church came to town, more or less?
I didn't trust them. Let's just say that I didn't trust them, but I was in desperate situation, so I was like, okay, if
So
they come to my
it was desperation. It had nothing to do with trust.
yes, Yes, it was desperation.
Okay.
And that's the way I thought about it. I was like, if they can come all the way to my country and they act, let me just say this, they act like they want to help, or they're trying to help or whatever. Let's see how far this is gonna go. So what I told them is, I told them, well, if you guys not gonna send me to my country, what the hell do you guys really want from me? So there's like four couples that got together and they're like, we want to take you for lunch. I'm like, okay, well, let's go to lunch. And then we set up 2 days later, we end up in the lunch table. We was talking, and then I asked them straight up. I was like, you guys, what do you guys want from me, really? Because at that time, I didn't trust nobody. I did not trust nobody whatsoever. So they're like, well, we want to help you. Like, we want to see what kind of help you want. That was in Colorado, to remind you that. I was like, well, you guys see I'm homeless, and I wanna go back. I wanna go to a trade school. I did I did not believe they was gonna agree to none of that stuff. So they got me like 3 months rent in apartment, and then I went to this culinary school in Colorado called Escoffier Culinary School.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
Garfield. Yeah.
yeah. I went.
I went to one of their schools in Paris after I got out of Pittsburgh Culinary School. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Real familiar with Escoffier. Yeah. Okay.
yes, sir.
That explains
So
the bean puree. We'll talk about that
that,
a little later on. We'll talk about
yeah,
that
man.
later. Okay.
Yeah. So I end up in Escoffier, and man, I just that right there changed my perspective in people completely. It changed my perspective how different people is. No matter how much you hate other different person, the next person will not be the same. So that it started to change my view on people and the country and all of that stuff. So that gave me a lot of stuff to think about. But before, I was just pissed off of everybody. I was pissed off of America. I was pissed off of my life in America. I just want to go home so I can be like, you know what? I knew back home there's death back home, basically. And I didn't mind to go back to death. That's how desperate I was. But when that happened, it's like, wait a minute. It might not be all of that bad. You might not probably not everybody is the same. Maybe certain people got certain different hearts. So that gave me a lot of perspective on people.
um,
Yeah.
so let's talk about your time in culinary school. What made
Okay.
what made you decide to go to culinary school? Like you said, you had been in Job Corps, you had done construction work. I mean, there were tremendous. I mean, many opportunities open to you. They didn't limit you to what you could do. What made you choose to go to culinary school?
Back home, what we do is we farm our own food back home: chicken, goats, sheep's, cows. You farm your own corn, tomatoes. So that memory is still back in my mind. And I used to remember how we don't have fridge back home. So every day, my mom go in the farm and then pick up some stuff and cook. So I figure if it's too cold to work in construction and it's too dangerous to work in security, why not try cooking? I wasn't that good at it, but when I started in school, I loved it, man. It changed my whole life. I'm telling you, this like that school changed my life. Like right now, it completely changed my life. Tell you, that's one thing I can vouch for sure, for sure. Culinary school saved my life, man.
Yeah,
Straight up.
I can definitely say the same thing. I had four strikes and I was coming out of jail myself, and I had to choose something where I could be creative and I could express myself and I could do that same hustle that I had on the street. I could put that energy into something and feel fulfilled at the end of the day. And I don't know about you, but when somebody tastes my food and they smile and they talk about it
That's it.
and they
That's
pass it
it right
around,
there.
you know.
That's it right there, man. That's it. When you see that smile, you're like, yes, that's all I was looking for. That's my reward. Like, forget the money, forget the hours you put in there, just that smile, man.
I'm telling you, man.
Yes, sir.
So, how did you end up getting to San Diego?
Okay, that's a good question because after Colorado, after graduate culinary school, I did the same thing that from Michigan to Colorado. I was like, you know what? Let me come to Hollywood Boulevard and go in one of those fancy restaurants. I might hit it big one day, become a big time chef. It didn't work the way I planned it. I end up homeless again. I end up homeless over here in Skid Row, over here in Venice Beach, and over here in San Monica Beach. But I did find a job, and the first job that called me was over here in Cheesecake Factory.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Cheesecake Factory. So Cheesecake Factory end up that I just they know I was homeless. They hire me, but you know, sometime when you're homeless, man, people look at you different. People treat you different. People don't have respect for you. People just people just put you underneath their feet. That's when my situation changed, and I end up in prison. I end up in jail for that because one of the managers, he trying to basically every time I come clocking in, he's not basically how can I say this? He's not my code number. It wasn't going in. So 2 weeks passed by. He was gonna write me up. So he was picking on me the whole time when I started working there. And my qualification was a line cook. But every time I'm in the line, he come basically like, hey, and I don't mind doing the job. I really don't mind doing the job. I don't care what job it is. As long as it's in the kitchen, I don't mind doing it. Because like, hey, go clean the floor, go clean the dishes, do this, do that. Okay. But the way he said with attitude and stuff like that, like, he tried to get me out of there basically. And I felt like he was picking on me big time. And I was the only black person working on that line. Just to put that out, I was the only black person working in that line, and I think the only reason to hire me because you have to have a minority, at least one minority in every job criteria. If I don't know if that sound right or not, but
Right. Right. I know
so
that.
I
Right.
yeah,
I,
I think that's the only reason to hire me, and I kind of got upset at that because my basically my experience and my talent, that's not what I'm not about that. Don't hire me because you think I fit the criteria, your criteria to be in a minority or something like. No, hire me for my skills, hire me for my talent, and not just to be petty, just to petty on me or something like that. So he was picking on me anyway. So one day we got into it, and then he said, "I'm gonna write you up." And I was like, "For what? You arguing with me? We have a disagreement. Take it however you want to take it, but I'm just telling you my opinion. I'm gonna write you up." Well, if you write me up, I'm not gonna sign up that write up. So he started making fun of me. He said, "Well, go home then." He knew I was homeless. He know I was homeless. I was like, well, if you want me to go home, pay me my 2 weeks worth of pay and I'll leave. He laughed at my face. He's like, I'm not gonna pay you shit. What you gonna do about it? Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's like, I'm not gonna pay you shit. What you gonna do about it? Well, right there, I lost it. I went to the parking lot. I smoked a cigarette. He came outside. He started, oh, you still here? Didn't I tell you to go the fuck home? Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I just took off on him. I just took off on him. From there, I was like, you guys gonna pay my money. You guys gonna pay me my 2 weeks worth of pay. Again, out of desperation. I didn't have no money. I was homeless. I need my money. I tore up the restaurant. I started breaking the computers, you know, breaking the computers, breaking the bar, throwing the food down, all of that stuff. He called the cops on me and he told the cops that I was chasing him with a knife. I'm trying to kill him. So when the cops came in there, guns was drawing. Put your hands up. My hands is up. There wasn't no knife. I did have set a knife. It was in my hand. It was my chef knife. It was in my backpack. So he went and grabbed the backpack, told the cops, yeah, this is the knife that he was chasing me with. So I got arrested. I went to court. The judge didn't want to hear nothing that, nothing that basically I got to say. I was upset, man.
Did you have a public defender?
I was really upset. So, but at the end of the day, they ended up sending me to Patton State Hospital for evaluation. Turned out that I was diagnosed with PTSD, schizophrenia. I don't know how to say the word. Schizophrenia or something like that.
Schizophrenia.
Yes, and anxiety. So it was a Patton State Hospital. I stayed there for like 2-3 months, and then I came back to court, and then the judge basically sent me to North County State Prison for 3 years. So I did my time. From there, immigration picked me up. I went to immigration over here in Altai Mesa Detention Center. I did 2 years there. So altogether, that's 5 years. So from there, they're trying to deport me because I keep going to and then the immigration judge got me a lawyer because my status was as a Franco. I'm not be able to represent myself or even be in court without no lawyer present. So the immigration judge gave me a lawyer, but that didn't help. No. So now I'm looking at deportation time. So you remember when I was saying I want to go back home so bad? This time I'm saying I don't want to go back home. Hell no. Hell no. I do not want to go back home right now. I tried to fight it for 2 years. Did not work. But right when they're about to deport me, when I signed up the deportation paper because I was sick of sitting at the immigration for 2 years, they treat you like shit there just because you're an immigrant. Man, I was like, you know what? Give me the paper, man. I'm ready. Let's go. Paper. Back home in Sudan, they throw a coup to President Omar Bashir. So basically, the general threw a coup, throw away the government. Now they can't deport me because they don't have government and they don't have no embassy in Sudan. So they're like, you know what? Yeah. Instead of them releasing me, they're like, pay us $20,000 bond, and then we're gonna release you. So I was like, I was like, okay,
So wait a minute, hold it now.
Yeah,
You've been locked up for the last 5 years.
Yes.
2 years in immigration.
Yep.
Where were you supposed to come up with $20,000?
Exactly. They don't care. They really don't care. So But likely enough, there's like this nonprofit organization that I call. I told them my situation. They're like, okay, well, give us like 2 3 months, and we can try to figure it out. There's a lot of generous people out there. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna tell you that. There's a lot of generous people out there willing to help people that need. So they told me like give us like 2 3 months. We're gonna try to put your name out there, see who willing to donate that $20,000. I'm like okay. So I stayed there for another like 3 months. They paid the bond, and immigration just basically just threw me in the street with no papers, with no work permit, to like a status basically to a paper that allowed me to work in America. Nothing. I was just out here. Like I was. So I went to a shelter. I went to a shelter, and I end up in a program. In this program, it called ECS. You know, told them my situation, told them my problems, my mental health. So they support you with they support you with housing, they support you with therapists, they support you with like if you got drug problems, they support you with all of that stuff. They support you for 9 months, and that's what I'm at right now. So
Okay.
that's what I'm going through.
Okay. So, couple questions here.
Yes,
You went through. You're in a program now, a 9 month program.
yes.
So, what happens at the end of that 9 months? Are you given a job? Are you? I mean, do you have job skills? You speak of training. I mean, therapies and whatnot. Do those programs go on? Are they helping you get your? I get. Wait a minute. I'm overloading here. Let's start with what is the goal of that 9 month program? What are you
The go
able to do at the end of those 9 months?
See, my situation is different. For me, being an immigrant and don't have paperwork to work in America, my situation is completely different. And they told me that we can only support you for 9 months. After that, we don't know what to do. It's on you. So that being said, I've been with them for 6 months already. So my time is running out. But it's like for me, I'm trying to like stay positive and take one day at a time, especially what's going on in Sudan right now with the family going on. Can't get hold of the family. Uh, I don't know what's going to happen within 3 months. You don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just taking it one day at a time, man. And I hope I'm going to go back to immigration. I'm going to try to ask them for paperwork, like to get a work permit. I'm going to see if they can grant me at least that, so I can get a job, be able to support myself until the deportation time comes, because they still want to deport me back home. They just told me the soonest the smoke settle, you're gone, and I'm still trying to fight that
Okay. So,
because
do you still have the ability to become a citizen in the
oh
meantime?
no, after you catch a felony as an immigrant, you're not allowed to get a maybe green card, maybe a green card, but not a citizen. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the information that I know.
I don't know immigration law, so I can't speak to that. But it
Yeah.
does. But it
Yes.
does. It does seem because uh, to me it kind of sounds like I'm, and I'm going to go back to reference
Okay.
to
Yeah.
my days in prison, because once you did your time or whatever that sentence was, they gave you whatever that little money was that you got while you was working in prison industries, and they put you outside the gate. Maybe in some cases they gave you a bus ticket home, a one, like you said, a one-way ticket. You know, and it kind of sounds to me like you are in that same predicament. You know, like in 3 months, you have, unless you find that particular individual or organization, that you'll be back you'll be back in that vicious circle again.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm afraid of. And tell you the truth, I'm not trying to think about it, but hey, you just got to take it one day at a time, man. And that's where the fear kick in. That's where the anxiety start kicking in, and you don't know what to do next. So it's like I learned in this lifetime, man. I'm 33 years old, man, and I learned that it's stuff happen. Everything can change in a day, but you never know what's gonna happen. That's the beauty of life. You never know what's tomorrow gonna bring. You just gotta stay positive.
Well, brother, I have to commend you because when I was 33 years of age, I hadn't been that long back, and I had a very, very nasty attitude, which is why I had already had three strikes, probably. It was a good thing that I wasn't from a foreign country, because they probably would have deported my ass. But I was under the assumption, and it's because I spent so many years worrying about my personal success or views, that I really kind of lost track of what was happening in my country. I still thought, because I'd come home from jail, and I went to culinary school like you did. I went to a foreign country. I'd learned different food and different tastes and different people. I really thought that this was the land of opportunity. And I resented the fact that we had people that were coming in from other countries trying to take my country, trying to take what was mine. And then I looked at the situation, and I'm saying to myself, we are supposed to be, according to that lady that sits out there in New York Harbor, we are supposed, send us your poor, your health, your unfettered, we are supposed to be the land of opportunity. But it seems like we still carry a lot of prejudices, and especially toward those that do not necessarily look like the majority.
Yes, sir.
A lot
That's
of people say that I'm a pessimist, but I'm looking for a positive ending for someone in your situation. Because, like you said, there are people out there that are willing to help, but a lot of times we're not given the proper resources in order to find those people. Like you said, when you spoke of those people in Colorado, like you said, it was a happenstance. It wasn't something that you planned. If this lady keeps riding by you, that opportunity never comes.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so what do you find is your biggest obstacle in this country, other than and I know not being able to get a citizenship is probably number one. Uh, the lack of a green card is another. But how do you get up every morning with that hope? How do you how do you rest at night knowing that tomorrow is that uncertain?
How do I rest at night? Man, that's a good question. Let me like just said is every day I wake up early and I just, man, just take it hour by hour. Like everything can change, but take it hour by hour, man. Whatever opportunity come knocking, volunteering, side job, whatever, you can get your hands into. Just don't give up. Do not give up. The moment you give up, that's when you lose it.
See,
That's when you lose it.
I, I've learned that a lot of people think that a jungle means that you have to be out in the swamp and you have to.
Oh no,
This
Bob
world.
Marley said it. Bob Marley said it's concrete jungle. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, uh, brother, what are your expectations? I've kept you on for about an hour now. I know but
It's cool.
Conversation. So, what are your expectations? What I know, you've been working with the people in the House of Music. You've been
Yep.
doing the stuff with the Padres game. Uh, and I know that you would like to get your skill. You'd like to get something that in your skills. Uh, have you thought about maybe asking an investor for a food truck or something like that? Or maybe doing some pop-ups or things like of that nature, so that I mean, we know how to hustle. That's one thing.
That's true.
If you're in the if you're in the kitchen, you know how to hustle.
Yes, sir. That's for sure. That's
So
for sure.
have you thought about any of those possibilities?
I did thought about those possibilities, and it sound. I just, to me, it's like I'm trying to live the right way because, believe it or not, going to jail uh, give me another different perspective in life and make me even. It saved my life basically. It saved my life because the route I was going, being homeless, drinking and smoking, snapping on people, my attitude was nasty. Now it's like, wait a minute. This is you're not you don't have to live like that. You don't have to live like that. It's like there's a different, but it was too late for me. It was too late when I started thinking like that. I was already in jail. I started changing my mentality and all of that stuff. That's when I started seeking therapy. Going to I attend those programs.
Let me stop you right there. It's never too late. I got my
Yeah,
first. I got my first job when I was 37 years old. After I had four.
Okay. I'm glad you said that because I was thinking too. I was like, you know what? It's not too late for anything, but it's like, okay. I mean, the way I was thinking positive. That's what I was like. Why I didn't think that before I came to jail, but going to jail, it needed to happen. That's how I thought about it. It needed to happen to wake me up. It needed to happen to wake me up to basically something so something can click in my mind. Like, you don't have to live like that. Life is beautiful, but for my expectation, like you asked, is that everybody deserves a second chance, no matter what they're from, culture, religion, ethnic. They always deserve a second chance. But when it comes to America, as soon as you have like a felony, oh yeah, you just a number now, and they don't consider you as one of of the society. You're not deserve to live in society. So that's one thing about America is that I don't really agree with. It's like everybody deserves a second chance, no matter where they're from. ethnic group, religion, whatever. And that's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah, that's as I said. Like a lot of times you have to go by that. That old saying. Uh, you know, Sometimes you have to do something outside of the box in order for you to make your own mark. And a lot of times, like you said, when you have to check that little box, or people know that you're a felon, then they tend to look at you a different way.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
like I said, I've been through it, which is, once again, the reason why I became a cook, because back in those days, the last thing, people didn't really care where you were from, is if your food tastes good.
Yep,
And
exactly.
and it's the same thing today. I mean, I believe there's a book out called The Cocaine Chef. It's about a guy that was addicted to cocaine before he became a chef, and then he became a James Beard award-winning chef. So there are
See?
plenty of chefs, that are, our color, that are making strides within, the community. And like I said, sometimes you have to think outside the box. Maybe, find you a stand. Maybe, cook Sudanese food,
That's
and
for sure, man.
you know,
That's for sure.
hey, that bean puree that you made the other day, from what I understand, everybody was, like down on it. Hey,
The butternut
with
squash
the
puree.
butternut squash,
Yes,
man.
sir.
And
Yep.
hey, uh, you can do things with eggplant. Anything that you can grow, like you said,
Yep.
So, uh, hey, brother, it was good talking to you, sharing this time with you. And I hope maybe we can come on and do it again.
Definitely, man. Thank you for having me, man.
No problem, man. You
Yeah.
you have a great night. Any final thoughts you have for our audience?
Man, all I'm gonna say is, man, we gotta treat this life with peace and love. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Peace and love. Always.
All right, my man. You have a good day, and you can see, you can play this back. It'll be on Facebook Live, and it'll also be on YouTube.
All
So
right.
I sent you the link, and there's another link where you can have your friends and that watch it. So, hey, man, I appreciate your time. You have a good day, and I'll see you at least next Tuesday.
Yeah, the game. Yep, for sure.
All right.
For
You have a good
sure.
night, man. I'll talk with
You
you later.
too.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. That was Patrice. And I thought his story should be told. There are countless young men that are in sober living houses throughout our county that are actually wanting to contribute to be members of society, fruitful members of society. They don't want a handout, but they would love a hand up. Thank you very much for your time. Looking forward to talking to you once again on Diamonds Amongst the Darkness. Have a great night, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.